so far. Hauser in the right wing. Guarded by Brooks, drops it underneath for Bingham. Lowers the right shoulder into Dickinson, banging inside, turns toward the right hook and drops it in. Nice play by Marcus Bingham. And Michigan State opens the second half with a bucket. Devontae Jones, hands off on the left wing for Caleb Houston. Feeds Dickinson at the top of the key, angles right, hands off for Brooks on the curl. Pulls up for a deep two, rims off. Dickinson fighting for the rebound. Moussa Diabate comes down with it. Tosses it out on the right side for Jones. Jones pushes cross-court Brooks. Into the corner it goes to Houston, back to Brooks, back to Houston. Underneath, arcs it for Dickinson. Leans into Bingham on the right block. Dickinson lowers the left shoulder, spins to the left. Left is short. Bingham held his own. Walker sprints into the front court, weaves down the alley, layup is good. Coast to coast for Tyson Walker, and the Spartans lead has ballooned to 8.
The Spartans have come out of the locker room and put their foot right on the gas. They did not like that 4-point lead they had going into the half.
Let's see what this Michigan team is made of. Caleb Houston off the bounce, three-pointer, pops out. Max Christie the rebound. Walker into the front court, down the far side. Guarded by Devontae Jones, waits for the Hauser screen, curls right, tries to turn the corner, pulls up off the bounce, deep two, left is short. Dickinson box out, lost the rebound. Bingham fighting for it, and Bingham touched it last out of bounds. That's two big bodies chasing a loose ball. Both go out, both go crashing to the ground. And it's Michigan ball, but a rousing ovation for Marcus Bingham, such an enigmatic player. A season marred by inconsistency. There's really no in between. It's either an elite rim protector or someone who Izzo likes to bench early. And tonight we've seen the former. Jones for Brooks, slices through the defense, arcs up a tough runner, left it short. Diabate the board. Kicks it out right wing for Houston, into the corner. Brooks underneath for Dickinson. Looks to take down Bingham again. Lowers the right shoulder. Dickinson shimmies, left-handed hook, blocked by Bingham. And Hunter Dickinson lets out a sigh of frustration. Marcus Bingham has come to play in this second half.
Jared, you mentioned inconsistencies. That has been a thing that's plagued both of these teams all season long. On the side of MSU, it's been more so player specific. In terms of Michigan, it's been the team as a whole.
Dickinson leaves the elbow jumper short, but Diabate hauls in another board. Brooks fires for three, rims out. Moussa again, but lost it. And Bingham snatches in the rebound. Max Christie down the forecourt, buzzing down the near side in a hurry, wraps around the Bingham screen, curls left, and now Michigan State will slow things down. They're staked to an 8-point lead. Michigan yet to score since coming out of the halftime locker room. Walker moves left, around the Hauser hedge, curls right, kicks it back left side. Hauser fires for three. Too strong. Rebound tipped, and a foul is going to go on Gabe Brown, who crashed into Moussa Diabate. Diabate and Caleb Houston were converging on the board.
Yeah, that one might be the first questionable call of the day. It almost looked like the two Wolverines, Houston and Diabate, collided into each other.
Brown appeared to whack him with the left arm. Early substitutions for Michigan State. Hauser, Bingham, and Walker all seat. Malik Hall, Julius Marble, and A.J. Hogarth into the game. Michigan looking to quell the crowd and stop the run. Jones right side for Houston, drops it back off in the left wing for Jones. Pressed by Marble, pulls up off the dribble for three, off the mark, and then Diabate is whistled for a foul. He was jostling underneath with Malik Hall. Wanted a foul on Hall, instead it goes the other way, and Michigan continues to misfire for three. They've made just one today. And now I think the referees, and led by Bo Borowski, are going to the monitor perhaps to look for a hook and hold.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed pretty clear up there on the board, and, you know, obviously anytime a player has a foul called on them, they're frustrated, but Moussa Diabate call went against him.
I can't really blame him. The two players got tied up.
This angle might be a bit better.
Moussa had his left arm trapped under Hall's right arm. It's been a quick review. We'll wait and see what the call is coming out of that timeout. official announcement here. It looks like the way the teams are set up that it's just a common foul on Musa Diabate. Michigan will deploy a bit of a full court press here, looking to revive a stagnant offense, perhaps by doing so in the defensive end. A.J. Hogard left to right, shadowed by Jones in the backcourt, now walks it across the timeline right down the middle. Gets a high screen from Marble, moves left, downhill, lowers the shoulder, floater is good. A.J. Hogard using that 210-pound frame to bully Devontae Jones for a bucket. Michigan State all of a sudden is up by 10.
Biggest lead for either team in this one.
Brooks on the left side drops it into the low post for Diabate. Working with Hall, lowers the left shoulder across the lane. Right-handed hook is good. Musa Diabate drops in the baby hook. And Michigan with an 8. Hall on the right wing drives on Diabate, lowers the shoulder. Diabate sends it back. Hall lost it, flags it down in the corner. Goes to work again, draws Dickinson, and now resets on the left side via Hogard. Hogard with Jones, and Jones is whistled for a foul 40 feet away from the basket.
Devontae Jones, known for his aggressiveness on the defensive end, just kind of a get up in your face and annoy you kind of guy, but that one's just silly. Like you said, Jared, 40 feet from the basket.
Aikens will inbound on a hop for Hogard on the left side. Around the marble screen, curls right, challenges Dickinson. Pump fake, got him in the air and lays it in. Oh, A.J. Hogard with the poise and a bit of a wave to the fans afterwards. Spartans up 10 again.
Got Dickinson and Diabate up in the air with that one fake.
Jones pushes right side for Houston, drops it into the corner for Diabate with Hall. Lowers the right shoulder. Hall holds his ground, sweeps across the lane. Out for Jones, swings left side Brooks into the corner. Houston with Christie. Back out for Brooks. Brooks around the screen. Back and an illegal screen. A very late call. It's going to go on Musa Diabate. Breslin Center erupts. Michigan State's lead is 10. Michigan's about to find out what it's made of here.
Yeah, if you're Michigan, you have to lock it in right now. It's tough to come back against this Michigan State team by any margin, especially 10 at home. Michigan State has everything on their side right now.
Points since halftime. 8-2 Michigan State, the advantage in those first 4 minutes and 22 seconds. Nothing going on offense and nothing coming easy for Michigan. They went to the well of Hunter Dickinson early and often in the first half. It worked to the tune of 14 points. But in the second half, Marcus Bingham has gotten the best of Michigan's big man.
Yeah, I mean, absolute menace there before heading over to the bench to take a quick break. First half, Dickinson and Musa Diabate. Michigan in a very tough spot right now. You have to make adjustments and you have to come out firing.
Devontae Jones has 3 points, Caleb Houston has 4 points, and Eli Brooks has 5 points. A grand total of 12 points from 3 of your backcourt fixtures is not going to cut it, especially against the 10th-ranked Spartans, especially in a raucous road environment.
Yeah, you talked about that road environment. We mentioned it before the game. It is a sea of green and white here in Breslin Center. You look around, there's a few little pockets of maize, just a person or two scattered all the way around, but other than that, it is hostile territory.
Speaking of hostile territory, they're blasting Pump It Up right now. Perhaps that'll revive Michigan a little bit.
Playing this song could be poking the bear in Hunter Dickinson right now.
Michigan certainly needs that bear to be poked. If they stand any chance to come back from what is now swelled to a 10-point deficit, they need first half Hunter Dickinson and then some. Frankie Collins is checked into the game for Devontae Jones, perhaps looking to provide a spark. Jones with just 3 points and 2 fouls on the afternoon so far. It's Michigan State basketball. Malik Hall inbounds to A.J. Hogard. Max Christie, Julius Marble, and Jaden Atkins out there as well. Christie high on the left wing, right by Brooks, loops to the point for Marble. Hand for a curling Christie, tries to get downhill, shovels it off on the left side. Marble takes the 18-footer, jumper rims off, and the rebound for Hogard. He just out-hustled Frankie Collins to the rock. Hogard high on the right wing, working with Collins around the Marble screen. Shut off, now moving right again, nothing doing, picks up his dribble, skip feed into the far side corner. Hall passed up a 3, takes the 2 instead, and splashes it home. Michigan State up by 12. 15 minutes to play in this ball game. Frankie Collins angles left, pushes along the wing for Brooks. Brooks with Akins. Calls off a screen, now works around one from Houston. Nearly lost the handle, pushes it back for Houston. Swings left side, Collins. Collins with Akins. Shot clock down to 8. Collins spinning into the lane. Layup, left is short, but is fouled. A bit of a wild dribble drive by Collins, but that's the sort of attitude Michigan needs if it's going to get back into this game for an offense that has fallen stagnant.
You mentioned that spark when Frankie Collins checked into the game, and he brings just that. Active on the defensive end, explosiveness on the offensive end, just what Michigan needs, I agree.
Collins came up a little lame as he limps his way to the free throw line. First free throw is good for the 38% free throw shooter. Shot remains very much a work in progress for Collins, who has excelled defensively and getting downhill. 49-38, Michigan State leads by 11. One more upcoming for Collins, and he misses it strong. Akins the board. Outlet for Hogard, weaves into the front court, pushes right side Malik Hall, thought about a three, gives way for Hogard instead. Around the marble screen, splits the defense down the middle, out right side Hall. He'll let this one fly off the mark. Marble pulls in the rebound, goes back up and lays it in. That's Julius Marble, the backup big man, sandwiched between two Wolverines, able to pull in the miss and lay in the putback. Frankie Collins up the left side. High-low for Dickinson. Couldn't handle it. Hogard the steal. 1-on-2. Hogard goes at Brooks. Feeds Christie on the left side and he'll peels it back. Give for Hall. Right side Marble. Lowers his shoulder. That's an offensive foul. Eli Brooks stands his ground. That's 6-1 giving way for 6-11. And a turnover for Michigan State.
Yeah, there's no universe where that doesn't get called. Brooks was sitting there right on that Big Ten logo and just got ran right over.
Substitutions here. Kobe Buffkin enters the game for Frankie Collins. So Brooks and Buffkin, the backcourt mates. Gabe Brown and Marcus Bingham also in for Michigan State. Brooks peels right, gives for Buffkin to the point for Diabate. Tosses it high on the left side for Brooks. Around the Dickinson screen, pulls up off the dribble for three, in and out. Rebound Akins, and the three-point line remains something that the Wolverines cannot conquer. Hogard working up top, scoots around the Dickinson screen. On the crossover, lowers his shoulder, gets to the block, blocked by Brooks, but a foul first on the floor.
These Michigan State guards have done a great job of using that high ball screen up top. Hunter Dickinson's done a nice job as the big man coming up the hedge, but just using their quickness to change directions and keep Michigan on their toes.
A.J. Hogard, so effective at the open floor and so tough to stop when he gets downhill, has been brilliant so far this afternoon. He'll take a seat for Tyson Walker. Bingham lobs it in on the left side. It's caught by Hall. Pitches to the point for Akins. Now Walker comes to meet the rock, working with Brooks and wrapping around a Bingham screen. Walker moving left down the alley. Goes for the turnaround fade at the foul line. Left is short. Strong rebound underneath. Goes for Caleb Houston. Houston right to left on the far side. He's working with Gabe Brown. Dribbling with the left hand. Diabate wants it. Give up top Dickinson. Nearly lost the handle. Loose ball. Akins the steal. Whistles ahead for Brown. Watch out. Gabe Brown blows the roof off this place with a two-handed slam. And Michigan State's lead has ballooned to 15.
The Spartans just cannot be stopped right now.
Eli Brooks up top. The defense is suffocating. Dickinson at the point with Bingham. Holds it on his left hip. Hands off a curling Brooks. Scoots right. Brooks back for Diabate. Jab step shut off by Hall. For Houston, 5 to shoot. Underneath Dickinson. Batted away by Bingham. Brown into the front court. Hands off Walker. And Michigan can hardly even get inside the arc on offense. 8 minutes gone by in the second half, and the Wolverines have 3 points in these 20 minutes. Hall on the right wing, fakes, got Dickinson in the air, drops it into the corner for Akins. Jab steps back to Walker. Shot clock down to 8. Walker with Brooks, drives, lowers the shoulder, fakes, pivots, out for Akins, right wing 3. Off the mark, Bingham the side pocket board. Everything falling apart in this half for Michigan. Walker on the left side. Wolverines trying to stop the bleeding. Hall with Dickinson, lowers the left shoulder. spinning into the lane. Layup blocked by Dickinson. And the rebound, Diabate. Michigan has numbers if it hurries. 5-on-4. Brooks, cross-court, Houston. Catch and shoot. Rains a three. Finally, Michigan getting out on the open floor and getting Caleb Houston a look.
That one a huge bucket from Caleb Houston. Doesn't do much to impact the score, but it does enough to quiet down the crowd here in Breslin Center.
It's possession by possession, play by play if Michigan is going to come back in this one. Down by 12, 11:15 to play in the second half. Next whistle takes us to the under 12 timeout. Walker mismatched on the right side with Diabate. Now draws Dickinson. Walker in the crossover, drives left, jump stop, pivots, shut off nicely. 4 to shoot, out on the left side, Brown launches, and short arms a three. Long rebound taken in stride by Brooks. Juwan Howard wants his team to push. Brooks shovel feed Houston. Shut off by Brigham nicely. Drops it underneath for Diabate with Hall. Diabate shimmies, now goes to work. Pass out for Brooks, back to Musa, back to Brooks. Brooks around the screen, back to Diabate. Couldn't handle the feed off the pick and roll. Last touch by Diabate. Going back to Michigan State on the other end of the under 12 timeout. Spartans up by 12, 53-51. They've led by as many as 15. Michigan, their offense has just totally disappeared.
Yeah, it's a game of runs. You know, that's one of the most cliche things in basketball, but it's true. Michigan State came out in the second half, put their foot right in the gas, and just pumped that lead up to at most 15. The lead now sits at 12. Michigan's going to have to do all they can to fight their way back into this one.
Caleb Houston got a nice transition look on a three and rained at home. Michigan definitely needs to get him more involved, and they have to figure out their three-point shooting woes. Just 2 threes in this ballgame, that's not going to cut it, especially when Marcus Bingham and Malik Hall have really stepped up in their one-on-one battles with Hunter Dickinson and Musa Diabate.
The big men have just been dominating on both sides. It's really been, you know, kind of a game of two halves. In the first half, Diabate and Dickinson couldn't be stopped down low. Now here in the second half, Michigan State has flipped the screen.
Was on the floor for the first 9 minutes and 15 seconds of that second half. He has yet to score in the second half after 14 first half points. Musa Diabate, same thing, except he has 2 points. That's not going to cut it for the Wolverines. Out of the timeout, it looks like both Diabate and Dickinson will be on the bench. They're both standing right now as Juwan Howard draws up plays in the timeout huddle. I think it's going to be Houston, Brooks, Bufkin, Johns, and Williams. And if you look at those 5 for an offense that has fallen stagnant, where does the scoring come from?
You just got to get open looks. I mean, Michigan's struggling on the offensive end, but they've also taken a lot of really tough shots. You know, you look at their offense and you see that Dickinson and Diabate are providing most of the production, but you can't go to them every time. A lot of times Michigan's just kind of giving the ball down low in the post and say, okay, go to work, and they're clearing out. But the way with the, the way these Michigan State defenders have been playing and the size that they have, they can't really use that matchup that they so much love to use.
53-41, the Spartans up by 12. They were up as many as 15 in this half. It's been a 14-6 run since the second half began. Michigan with just 6 points in a little over 9 minutes of action in the second half. They need a few offensive sparks, and they need them very quickly. Both teams have broken their huddles. For Michigan State, it's going to be A.J. Hogarth, Max Christie, Gabe Brown, Joey Hauser, and playing with the aforementioned 5 of Bufkin, Brooks, Williams, Johns, and Houston. So Michigan going a bit small here, perhaps hoping that'll free up some space on the perimeter and get the offense flowing. It's Michigan State ball out of the timeout. Joey Hauser will inbound, gets it in for A.J. Hogarth, and he'll take it left to right. Hogarth into the forecourt with Brooks at the point, pushes left side for Christie. Christie with Bufkin, gets a high screen from Marble, motions to the top of the key, give right side Hogarth. Hogarth with Brooks, shot clock already down to 11, draws a switch, picks up his dribble, kick right side, Hauser launches. That's good! Joey Hauser snaps Michigan State up 15 again. Eli Brooks down the middle, tosses right side Bufkin. Give it the top of the key for Brandon Johns, back to the basket. Johns pivots, searching, giving the right side for Brooks. Brooks calls off a Johns screen, now drops it underneath for Johns. He'll go to work with Marble. Johns lowers the left shoulder, a double comes. Now backs off of it, another one comes out on the right side. Kobe Bufkin launches and drills a 3. The freshman stepping up, buries a triple. And Michigan mounts an answer, down by 12.
In a game where you're already down by 12, you can't be trading buckets. You have to get stops on the other end.
A.J. Hogard around the screen, tosses back to the point for Hauser. Pushes right side, Gabe Brown catches off a curl. Given the wing for Christie. Christie thought about pulling a 2. Brown instead drives on Buffkin, glides inside. The runner is good. Oh, tough taken to make for Gabe Brown. And the Spartans up 14 again.
The Spartans showing everybody in Breslin Center right now why they're the number 10 team in the country. They're playing extremely well.
Brooks on the left wing, left alone. Reed Johns hauls in the rebound, lost it, and Marble has it. And the struggles continue for Eli Brooks. Hogard up ahead, Hauser lurking alone, he lays it in. That's not gonna cut it. No one was there. Jawan Howard is pointing for Eli Brooks to come towards him. He wants a timeout. He's pointing fingers at Brandon Johns and Terrence Williams, telling them that nobody got back. And the lead is 16, 60-44.
Michigan's had a few just mental lapses like that today. That's the second or third quote-unquote fast break layup we've had Michigan State have, where they've just had somebody back and nobody from the Michigan Wolverines has even looked in that direction.
Jawan Howard tried to give Hunter Dickinson and Musa Diabate a quick spell. The two players who have shouldered the load thus far, they're both coming right back in. It was a quick and ill-fated stint out there for Johns and Williams, and under production so much as it does hustle and missing your assignments. Joey Hauser